Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin has only moved sideways today, nothing too exciting here on the Bitcoin chart today. During the holiday period, we don't normally expect too much action anyway. But the idea is still that after the move up that we've seen from the Monday low, we could see one more high potentially in this fifth wave to the upside within a C wave of a larger B wave correction. I mean, the question will be, is this going to be all of wave B anyway? I mean, that's the next question we're dealing with, but for now, the idea is this was an A wave. We are moving up in an ABC structure. This is the short-term bullish scenario and also hasn't changed since the last update. So the analysis is still very consistent with the last update. And then in the C wave up, we're looking for 5 waves, 1, 2, 3. That could have been yesterday's high, the third wave, now the fourth wave, and maybe one more high. We're still holding the upper micro support level I shared with you, or upper micro support that I shared with you in the last update, and it's located between 96,430 and 98,020. We're still holding it. I mean, the idea was that maybe this is forming either a wider flat correction. That's still valid because we haven't broken to the upside, and all the rallies from yesterday's low have been corrective. Yeah. So as you can see here, it's only a 3-wave move up. Also, this is a 3-wave move up from today's low, and therefore this might still extend a little wider, or further, this correction. Another idea was a triangle. Technically speaking, a triangle could be complete and we have to be ready for an upside breakout. However, then I need to see minimally a break above that internal B wave high. And again, I'm only going to take a look at the shorter time frame here today because not much happened anyway. 99,350 needs to be broken to indicate we're in an upside breakout. Normally, when a triangle is finished and is breaking to the upside, well, then we would normally expect quite a surge. And the next upside target is 99,746. And then above that, we've got 101,550 as next upside targets on the smaller time frame, right? So those of you who watched previous videos, you know that for the C wave up, basically the move that ideally was to start from that Monday low, the first ideal target was mentioned, that was highlighted actually, was this 99,750 level, and we are nearly there anyway. Now, if we go higher, I mean, then the next move up could be that fifth wave that we are looking for. And for a healthy wave 5, I mean, it would get closer to 101,550. Either way, further direct movement to the upside is possible as long as the 96,414 level is holding. What happens below that level? And that would take us to the short-term bearish potential. Below that level, we're dealing with probably a wider range-bound movement again and different possibilities. For example, we could expect a bit of a sideways range here. That might be an internal, I mean, that B wave that we're tracking could actually be a triangle. It might be here before we go down, okay? But that is only something we can then consider further should the market break below $96,400. Okay, that's pretty much it at the moment. And then we might actually see a test of the lower boundary line here within the range. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance briefly. Bitcoin dominance hasn't really changed since the last update. We had a dip, a breakdown from our wedge pattern here. And the next move to the downside could take us to 53% roughly. So all we've seen, however, so far was this corrective rally into resistance, which is between 58.2% and 61.1%, and a decline, or let's say a rejection, and a break below the lower boundary line. But as you can clearly see, it's only a 3-wave move down so far, so it's not impulsive yet. I did tell you that the next step to confirm further downside would be a 5-wave move down. Given that it's only a 3-wave move down, it's not clearly bearish yet, but let's see if the market gets some further downside movement maybe late this week, next week. It's certainly not impulsive to the downside, so We might see a few more upside extensions. I'm not entirely sure. It's certainly not clearly bearish. So had this moved into or morphed into a 5-wave move down, it would be more clearly that C wave to the downside. It's not. So that means it's already starting to fail potentially. That said, the C wave can be an ending diagonal. So one idea is that this is a 1, moving up in wave 2, and we could do this, right? But this is a low probability, first of all, because the Bitcoin dominance chart is not a chart that you can easily track with Elliott Wave. We just do it to identify some tendencies. And also the move down isn't impulsive, so it's a diagonal pattern. Then I can guarantee the microstructure is going to shift. But for now, I think that the focus is on the last swing low. If the bears can drive the price below that last swing low that was formed here around 57.5%, is further evidence that we are moving down towards 53%. And then the focus needs to be on the lower boundary line of that channel, of that wedge pattern, a retest of it, and then let's say it's not a sell-off but a decline would also be further confirmation for that white scenario. And it would already indicate, let's say, short-term bullishness here on this chart if the bulls drive the price above, back above the, or back into the wedge pattern, yeah, back into the wedge pattern. To keep the downside pressure up, we should stay below the lower boundary line, I'd say. So yeah, that's just to give you an idea of where we are. Levels haven't changed, however. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.